So what we can do is we can give students a list of points to plot, such as -3, 4, and 5, 4. And then they need to find the distance between those. Now, students can just count the distance if they want, but what they can also do, and that's what this material is designed for, is that they can use the geometry sticks. The geometry sticks are different lengths, whole unit lengths, and they're also organized by color. So students know if the pink geometry stick fits, then that's 8. So there's another connection to what they've already done in elementary with the colors and the sizes, and that can make the work go a little bit faster, and also it's enjoyable for them to work with the materials in this way. Eventually though, we want them to be able to look at this 5 and this -3 and to calculate the fact that, oh, those are just 8 apart. And so eventually they'll be doing the subtraction of those x coordinates to find out that that distance is 8. But for now, we can just have them find it any way that they want to, and they should be doing recording with this work. So they would record the endpoints, then they would record the distance, and hopefully as they do that recording, they'll start to realize and discover what the rule is, that we're just subtracting those, or in other words, it's how far apart, in this case for a horizontal line, it's how far apart those x coordinates actually are. And then later, as students have the list of points, they might notice that and then not have to actually graph the points, but then can just give what the answer is because they've done the work enough with the materials. Here's another example where we have 2 points that are vertical from each other. And so we have 3, 1 and 3, 6. And students can measure with the geometry stick of 5. And so here, if students do this recording, they'll notice that 6 and 1 are 5 apart. And again, it's leading them through the experiments to see what that rule is. Now, when we have things all in the first quadrant, it's a little bit easier to see that subtraction rule. And in fact, even before students know anything about negative numbers and how to do subtracting with negative numbers, they can work all in the first quadrant. So we can make this work as difficult or as simple as we would like. Eventually, we're going to want to have students find the distance between points that are diagonal from each other, like 0, 0 and 5, 3. And they'll find out that there's no geometry sticks that they can use to measure that. And they will have known this if they've done work with the geometry sticks with the Pythagorean theorem before. So to find the distance, we can use a rubber band to measure the length. And then we can say, how do we find this diagonal distance? And we can put a third peg in here at 0, 3. And we can say that we can make a right triangle with this diagonal distance as the hypotenuse. And we know how to find the hypotenuse of a right triangle. We can find the distance of the legs. So this leg measures 3, and this leg measures 5. And again, right now students can just put the geometry sticks in, but eventually they can calculate those distances directly from the points if they've done the work with the vertical and horizontal lines well. And so students can find these vertical and horizontal distances, and then they can use the Pythagorean theorem to find the hypotenuse. And so this is all work that can be done without a formula. Students do need to know the Pythagorean theorem though to find this diagonal line. And again, they can do this work before they've discovered the rule of subtracting the coordinates, or they can do this afterwards, and then eventually though that will lead to a more formalization of the distance between 2 points, especially the distance between points that are diagonal from each other. But for now, it's just an exercise in students plotting points and then doing something fun with that, finding the distances, making observations, and just seeing how far students can go with that work.